Hey, it's Alan Doyle, and I like to be on Toronto Mike right here in downtown Etobicoke. I'm loving it so much. Let's get it on.
What up, Mike?
I think we are.
Yeah, no, South Etobicoke. This is, you're in the big leagues now, man.
I love it.
I'm in Toronto, where you wanna get the city love. I'm from Toronto, where you wanna get the city love. I'm in Toronto, like we wanna get the city love. My city love me back for my city love.
Welcome to episode 1804 of Toronto Mic'd. Proudly brought to you by retrofestive.ca, Canada's pop culture and Christmas store. Great Lakes Brewery. Order online for free local home delivery in the GTA. Palma Pasta. Enjoy the taste of fresh, homemade Italian pasta and entrees from Palma Pasta in Mississauga and Oakville. Blue Sky Agency. Ask Doug Mills about how Silent delivers the space to focus, collaborate, and recharge. Nick Iones, he's the host of Building Toronto Skyline and Building Success, two podcasts you ought to listen to. Kindling. Go to shopkindling.ca for free 1-hour cannabis delivery. Recyclemyelectronics.ca. Committing to our planet's future means properly recycling our electronics of the past. And Ridley Funeral Home. Pillars of the community since 1921. Today, making his highly anticipated Toronto Mic'd debut, it's Alan Doyle.
I love it already. I love everything about it. Thanks for having me. Fantastic.
And you were saying just before I press record, Alan, that you have a basement studio.
I do, and I do a ton of work down there, and it's like a little getaway. And I love basement studios. I love the fact that people have like carved out like a part of their house to that's just for them. You know what I mean? Like I love, like in Newfoundland, like in modern Newfoundland, it's the shed, right? People the typical thing is for the dudes to have a shed, you know, where there's like workshop-y type business.
Is that like a man cave?
Like a man cavey type situation. And then the ladies have responded with what they call a she shed. I don't know if you've heard about that.
No, tell me about a she
Well,
shed.
that's like, I guess, whatever ladies would do in a shed, I suppose, goes in there. Whatever crafts or you know, typical woodworking or whatever they would do. I don't know. I've never been in a she shed, I confess.
You've never been invited.
But shed parties have become a popular thing back home. And like, so, but the whole thing about like that people have a work or a pastime or a hobby or whatever that sort of they've carved out a part of their house for, that I always want to go there, even if I have no idea what people are doing in there. Right, even if it's like, you know, if someone's got a pool place or
like a billiards, you mean? Like
anything, or like, you know, whatever spot that they go to, that's sort of right, that tells you all you need to know about them, and I think that's very cool.
You're in the right place, Alan. You're in the right place because, you know, I said watch your head. Everybody watches their head. Scott's with us and he says watch your head. He knows. He's had a few guests down here. And it's because we're in like a little hovel here. I don't know, like hobbits or something. The last remaining space in the house that I took it. I said, this is mine. I need a studio.
I love it so much. And like for your listeners there who probably can't look around as good as I can right now.
Yeah,
you know,
describe what you see.
Well, there's all kinds of hockey stuff and Leaf stuff and Jays stuff, and there's a cool old Jerry Cheeversy goalie mask kicking around there. And there's, you know, a jacket with 102 The Edge on it over there. And I think there's another swag jacket under that one.
That's like a Blue Jay World Series.
And there's like, you know, there's a bunch of beer stuff, I guess, from the Great Lakes place that you mentioned. And I even see a cherry blossom. It's pretty good.
Well, that the cherry blossom was gifted to me by Rob Pruce, who was the keyboardist for The Spoons and Honeymoon Suite.
Oh, yes. I've met Rob.
Okay, well, Rob heard I had never had one. Like, they discontinued these. I had never had a cherry blossom. Have you had a cherry blossom?
Oh, I have so many in my youth, yeah. My young life, I had lots of cherry blossoms. And not my thing. I don't like that kind of...
Well, I don't think I like it either, which is why I never had one. But I have this sitting here in the studio, and I have to make a decision. I know Scott's a big fan. Like, do I keep it just preserved for all eternity, or do I at some point actually eat?
Oh, you got to neck that. You got to get that in you sometime. Do it like the last day before Christmas or something. Thanksgiving or something, you know,
and live stream it, right?
You got to film it. You got to film anyone's first reaction to a cherry blossom.
Wow.
Because it, you know, as you can see from the box, you know, it's got a fairly hefty liquid center, right?
Yeah.
And you think you're ready for it. You ain't ready for it.
You know what? You could sell me on this cherry
surprise, man.
blossom.
And you should really do a tight, close, you know, a close up on your face when you have your first good dart into the into the cherry blossom.
Like, I'm not surprised you could sell me on the cherry blossom because you have made another sale. Let me tell you what you've done. You've convinced me I absolutely must. This is absolute, like a bucket list. I'm going to make it happen. I have to visit Newfoundland.
No, that's the grand slam. I've been saying since the book came out, like the home run is if people like it, and the grand slam is if people read it and go, I think I got to go to Newfoundland. And
yeah,
it's because it's really a love letter to my home province, and that's given me so much. And I'm not on the payroll or anything of provincial tourism, but I do like talking about it, and I do like, and I think I share something with a lot of people from Newfoundland and Labrador, and that we love hosting. Do you know what I mean? Like, and we have that sort of provincial compulsion that if somebody comes to visit us, we got to make sure they have the greatest time of their lives, or we're deeply offended. It's kind of like I always say, it's like the opposite of Paris.
right. Like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
So when I do finally make my my voyage to Newfoundland, am I welcome at your home?
Yeah, of course. You can come to my basement studio, and we'll do.
Could you imagine?
Well, why don't we come? And I'm dead serious. You come and we'll do a Toronto mic'd St. John's edition.
You had me at hello.
Like, that'll be a laugh.
Okay.
I got a couple of decent, mics and a little setup, and I bet we could do it. I bet it'll be fun.
Okay. Well, listen, I just heard footsteps upstairs. That's my wife. I'm going to pitch her on this whole idea. I want to do this. So I want to also tell the listenership, the book you referred to is called The Smiling Land, All Around the Circle in My Newfoundland and Labrador, by Alan Doyle. So, I mean, it's going to sound like a silly opening question, but why did you decide to write this, what I consider like a beautiful, long love letter to Newfoundland?
Oh, it's really two things. I've always been a fan of books that take a listener, a reader, I suppose, in either case, with the author. And Bill Bryson is one of my favorite writers. And Bill has written some famous sort of travel books, I guess you would call them, in that, but they're not sort of just, streams of facts about places that he's visiting. It's really, you walk into a pub with him and you see what he sees, and you discuss what it reminds him of. And perhaps some of the stuff you end up listening to or talking about have nothing to do with the pub that he's standing in, but it's just, the travel becomes this sort of catalyst for just an observational chat, and I always liked that kind of book, and I just wanted to give it a go. And then I a not so dirty secret about me is my first real job was a tour guide at the Newfoundland Museum when I was like 16 or 17, and I loved it, and I loved talking about Newfoundland, and I loved hosting people and like trying to, not just about showing them what was in the museum, but also, trying to help them make sure they had a good time while they were visiting our rock in the middle of the ocean.
So you obviously you're a proud Newfoundlander. You were born there, but you actually live there now. I think that's a fun fact. Like, will you only ever live in Newfoundland and Labrador?
Well, I would say. I mean, I've been saying one of the questions I try to answer in this book is why do I still live there? But more importantly, and perhaps more to the point, why has it never occurred to me to live anywhere else? And it's certainly not because it's easier for me. I mean, I get on 120 airplanes a year, or it's certainly not because, the economy is so awesome out on a frozen rock or the weather, or whatever. It's just like, but I feel, and I've always felt like it's home, right? And I heard a friend tell me one time, I said, you're not only lucky to get to live where you belong, but you're even lucky to know where that is, and because I said so many of us don't even know if he gave us, say, move home. Well, where's that, and so I've always felt fortunate to have that sort of connection that none of us know how to describe very well, but we just know it's sort of organic and visceral and important.
There's a series I love called The Wire. Did you ever see The Wire? Yeah,
I watched a couple of seasons of it. Okay. It's one of the ones that on the list of the greatest television series.
It's, in my opinion, it is the greatest television series.
And I never liked it.
You know what?
Yeah.
Maybe it's not for everybody.
Isn't that
right?
weird? I've tried to watch it because I want to watch all the good television shows. And I've tried to watch it and go like, I don't like the show. I don't know why I don't like the show. I'm like,
well, there's some great shows I don't like either, but The Wire, I've seen it a few times now. I absolutely love it.
I'm going to try again. I've got to watch it.
Listen, let's watch it together in Newfoundland,
there you go.
Okay, when I come visit. We'll watch it in the studio there. We'll live stream that too. But there's a character named Bodie, and he lives in Baltimore. But not only has he only ever lived in Baltimore, he actually has never left Baltimore. And there's a scene where he has to drive to New York. And he realizes the radio stations, the Baltimore radio stations, are no longer coming in on the FM dial. And I think somebody's with him and explains, like, we're too far away from Baltimore now to get their stations. And Bodie says this line, he says, why would anyone ever want to leave Baltimore? Like, that's the question. And I feel when I read your book, it's like I can hear your voice saying, why would anybody ever want to leave Newfoundland?
Yeah, and I was surrounded in my young life in Petty Harbour with people who would ask that same question. And we just finished this run of a musical that myself and a few buddies created. And I play this guy named Frank. And Frank is one of those people who would like, why, the musical is called Telltale Harbour, and Frank would be terrified at the thought of leaving Telltale Harbour ever. And why would you even want to? Like, why would it even occur to you to even leave, you know? And Newfoundland is filled with people who've never been to St. John's, you know, in my dad's generation and my grandfather's generation for sure.
Wow.
And, you know, because I think living in some of the communities is so challenging and hard that you get so invested in it that you feel like you're cheating on it or something if you like something that's right in the neighboring community or whatever. And it's one of the things that makes traveling from one little community to another in Newfoundland and Labrador very interesting, because they're filled with people who look like around them and only around them for great stuff, you know. And so it makes for a very interesting run-in.
When I was reading your book, I laughed out loud at this one part you're writing about. It's 1987, and you tell your father you're moving to St. John's.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah. So what was your father's reaction when you told him you're moving to St. John's?
Yeah, he said, I thought you already did. Well, because I lived in Petty Harbour, of course, right? And I was born in 1969. And when I turned, my birthday's in May, and I turned 16 in the summer of 1985, and I got a job in St. John's. I got a job as a tour guide at the Newfoundland Museum, but we didn't have a car, you know. So those 20 kilometers or whatever were too far to walk. So I hitchhiked every day. I hitchhiked to St. John's, and I did my job as a 16-year-old, and then I kept that job all through 17 years old, and then I got a temporary job in the winter there, and I worked there. And by the time I started going to university in September of 1987, you know, I said, I think I'm going to move to town and get it. Like one of the guys I knew at the museum had an extra room in a house he was renting.
Right.
And he would rent it to me for like $150 a month or whatever I would have paid at the time. And so I said to Dad and Mom, I think I'm going to move out there. And they were very confused looking, because they were like, well, where have you been for the last 2.5 years? Like, you certainly haven't been here.
Thought you'd already left.
Yeah.
That's funny. By the way, shout out to FOTM Heather Bambrick. FOTM Alan means friend of Toronto Mike. You're now in FOTM.
I know Heather very well.
Well, she brought me Screech when she came over.
Yeah.
So is this a real deal? Like, would a true Newfoundlander like you like sort of scoff at this whole tourist idea of Screech? Or
Well, a few things about it. The Screech Inn is a tourist hazing, without question, and it's a pretty good one if you ask me.
Yeah.
I think it's as good a tourist hazing as you have around. The history of the rum itself, right? Is, you know, I always get a kick out of when people say, "So it's Newfoundland rum," and I go like, "Just think about what you just said.
Right.
What is rum made of?" You know,
it's from Jamaica, right?
Yeah. Like, well, how could we possibly make rum in Newfoundland? But one of the earliest trade routes that was ever set up by the British government in the New World was between Newfoundland and the West Indies, right? Because they came to Newfoundland and the lake, and they caught cod and they salted it, and they brought all the good stuff,
right,
grades 1, 2, and 3, back to the UK, and all the worst stuff they sent to Jamaica and other parts of the West Indies, and of course they traded it with sugar cane, rum, molasses, right? And so that's how Newfoundland, like a lot of British sailor places, became rummy towns. And so Screech is one of the ones that the Newfoundland government kind of labeled, and that it would come in bulk, and they would basically label and bottle their own rum, and called it Newfoundland rum and Newfoundland Screech. And it's and here's the one thing I would say about it, because I am a rum drinker as well. Newfoundland Screech is very good. It is a touristy thing, but it's also a very good product. I would drink it all day long, no problem. Yeah.
Okay, listen. Well, when I'm at your place in St. John's, we're gonna enjoy some Screech for sure. By the way, I want to send you home with alcoholic beverage that is brewed right here in Southern Etobicoke. Okay, so this is like an exchange. Great Lakes Beer sent over some fresh craft beer for you to take, Alan.
Look at this. We have mild Monty mild. We got something burst.
Yeah, that's an IPA.
An IPA. We have.
What's another mild? Yeah.
Oh yeah, mild.
You got the lager, the famous Great
premium
Lakes
lager. Yeah, well, I appreciate it. Thanks. Shout out to Great Lakes Brewery.
And real quick, before I get to a question from Kevin in Alberta, everyone listening is invited. Scott, you're invited. Hope you're taking notes over here. I don't know if Alan's available. He, of course, is invited. But on this Saturday coming up, it's TMLX 21 at Palma's Kitchen in Mississauga. So everyone is invited. Second floor, Palma's Kitchen, Mississauga. This coming Saturday, November 29, noon to 3 p.m. There's a live recording, but you get to eat for free. Thank you to Palma Pasta. You get to drink for free. Thank you to Great Lakes Brewery. Retrofestive.ca is giving a gift to the first 75 people who show up. So you're getting a festive gift. You're into this, right, Alan?
Well, I mean, when you were reading out the list of, of partners and sponsors before we started talking, I thought it was fabulous. It was like an old Tonight Show, like intro or something. And so what about the funeral home? Are they involved in this thing or?
Well, they sent over Brad Jones from Ridley Funeral Home's going to try to be there, and he sent over a measuring tape for you, Alan. That's courtesy of Ridley Funeral Home. You're bringing that back to the Rock with you.
I got
it takes a village, my friend. You know.
So just to be clear, I want to make sure I'm showing it to the camera. The funeral home swag is a measuring tape.
Yes, sir.
That is absolutely fantastic.
Insert joke here.
That's fantastic. Well, of course it is. Oh, look at that. Well, one more shout out for, what's it called?
Ridley Funeral Home. 14th and Lakeshore.
Good spot. People are dying to get in there. People are dying to get in there.
That's the tagline. People are dying to get in here. I got to thank Kevin in Alberta, who said, I work with a buddy of Alan's. Tell him Darren Durnford says hello.
Yeah. Durnford's a guaranteed from the South Coast in Franceway. That's where I met all the Durnfords, down that way. And guaranteed, if it's the Darren, I think it is. Yeah, he's quite a good musician too.
All right, speaking of music here, we're going to bounce around. I'm not quite finished with Newfoundland yet, but apparently you're in a big fucking band we got to talk about, Alan. So I want to just shout out something coming up, okay? Not a sponsor, not a paying sponsor or anything like that. But this song will be a nice intro.
Oh, I know what this is. Hey, moon, have no fear. If you're getting lonely, sure we got room down here. And I know you're trying to catch a little sunshine, but come on down if you change your mind. And hey moon, are you full yet? Can you light up my silhouette in a cruel world? On a cruel night, could you make everything alright? 'Cause we're right where we belong. Come on, love, sing me a campfire song. When the clouds roll in and the stars are gone, put your arms around me and sing a campfire song. Yeah, lovely.
Dave Hodge says hello.
Oh, sweet Dave. Thank you, Dave.
He'll be here Wednesday in this basement.
He's the best.
He'll be watching his head. And he's going to share with everyone his 100 favorite songs of 2025.
Oh, that's sweet.
100 favorite songs.
He can do it. He's such a music guy. It's fabulous.
I've seen the list, and you make the list with this cover of a Joel Plaskett song, Hey Moon.
Yeah, this is a wonderful project that was put together for, I believe, for Joel's 50th birthday party. And his manager, Sherry, secretly got a bunch of bands and friends of Joel to record his songs. And then she gave it to him on his birthday. He didn't know about it. And so it's a wonderful project. And
good on you for doing that.
Yeah, and it was fabulous covers of Joel's songs. And this one that we're listening to called Campfire Song, I thought it would be really cool to record it. This is live around a campfire in Hubbard's, Nova Scotia.
Like that crackle I hear.
That's the fire. Yeah,
I thought it was added in post.
No, we did it, and if we filmed it as we did it. You can watch it on YouTube or what have you. We sat around a fire with a bunch of microphones up and open, and you can hear seagulls in it and boats coming and going. And it was in Hubbard's, Nova Scotia, and a lovely summer night a couple summers ago.
So we're gonna be learning about this on Wednesday when Dave Hodge comes over, and very cool. But it's interesting that we picked that campfire song, "Hey Moon," because I was enjoying your thoughts on camping in your book. So, so in the Smiling Land, it sounds like you love everything about camping except sleeping outdoors.
Yeah, I don't. Well, there's a couple of things. My wife has this romantic idea about sleeping in a camper and or in a tent or whatever, and of course, I never did a lot of that when I was a kid, because when the summer came, if you were a kid in Petty Harbour, that's when you went to work, right? Went to work on the wharf cutting out cow tongues and helping the fishermen and all that. You didn't go on vacations in the summertime. It'd be crazy. And that's how you got enough money to pay for hockey and guitars and stuff. Right. And so that was never a part of my childhood, camping. And then, well, of course, it's lucky for me in my adult life very quickly. I got in a band, and we ended up on a tour bus, right? Which, is one of the greatest things that can ever happen to you. Because you don't have to drive across, the prairies in February in the back of a cold minivan. Right. But the reality of tour bus travel, of course, which I've spent a lot of, is you're camping. You're urban camping with 11 other sweaty dudes. And so when it came to vacation, it's like, let's get a camper and go like, I don't want to do that at all. But my wife and son loved it. So we did part of the trip. That made up the Smiling Land was us towing our little vintage bowler trailer around Newfoundland.
That's funny. Do you mind if we just change the channels?
Yeah, do it. Oh, I know what this is.
Thought we go back a little bit here.
Yeah. This is Dermot O'Reilly's Basement in 1993.
It's always a basement.
Yeah.
What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor early in the morning? Way, hey, and up she rises, way, hey, up she rises, way, hey, up she rises early in the morning.
I think this is the first Great Big Sea song I ever heard.
Yeah, old traditional song, of course. That's Drunken Sailor. It goes by many names, but it's one of the things that has the Newfoundland versions of it, and then Irish versions, English and French, and everywhere that has a sailing culture has a version of this song. And it was just one of the ones that we put together when we wanted to sort of demonstrate that there was probably a new way and a more sort of contemporary or modern way, if you will, to do some of those songs. And so Sean, who's singing there now, along with Bob and Daryl, who were the three other guys in Great Big Sea, they had a band called Rankin Street, and they were the best pub band in the early 1990s in downtown St. John's. They asked me to join up with them and make a new band that did some original music as well, and so I could play. I was more from like a songwriter rock and roll background than they were, so they knew how to play traditional music really, really well, and I had a clue how to do some rock and rolly stuff. So the combination of it was what we all found interesting. And this is a good track for an example because it's way hey, and there's an electric guitar part in this song. And we're like sort of, I guess we're so heavily influenced by Spirit of the West and stuff that you could that whole thing of playing like minor, what I call Eye of the Tiger shots. But I think I have an electric guitar solo in this song. I think it's here, yeah.
Yeah, here we go.
Look out.
Moose Grumpy is on the live stream. I'm going to see Moose on Saturday because she'll be at TMLX 21. She's excited you're here. She's a big fan of yours. And she says this song got her through many drives of her son when her son was an infant because it instantly made him quiet and then made him laugh. So.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, little kids have always liked it because it's so fast or something or whatever. And thanks for always having us in your drives. But, the whole thing about this is an excellent example of what Great Big Sea wanted to do so early was like combine our two main influences between us all, which was like traditional Newfoundland and Celtic music and like 80s rock and roll, and they're all mixed together in that one.
Is it true the original name of Great Big Sea was NRA, or Newfoundland Republican Army?
It was one of the names that the band that preceded Great Big Sea went under. They went by Rankin Street for the longest while, but for a little while, that gathering of Sean and Bob. I'm not sure Daryl was in that one. But the history of there was the Newfoundland Republican Army, which of course Newfoundland, because we joined Canada, in our parents' lifetime. Then there's this every now and again there's this rising university, little fun thing to do where we all imagine the republic, the rise of the Newfoundland Republic, and no one's ever really taken it seriously, to be honest. But the Newfoundland Republican Army, and then the original name for Great Big Sea for a few weeks was Best Kind.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that was my idea, and Bob Hallett talked me out of it, and I was really upset. I thought Best Kind was such a great thing, and then 2 seconds after we changed it to Great Big Sea, I was like, oh my God, thank God. Thank God Bob was smarter than me.
It's funny looking back. It's like scrambled eggs. It's like, no, yesterday is better for that song, Mr. McCartney. But better name for this band is Great Big Sea.
Yeah, so true. It is. It made such sense.
All right, playing another Great Big Sea jam on our way to what I consider the huge breakthrough. But this is another one. I got to say, as a much music viewer, because I listened to, you see that Jackets from the Edge, because I listened to the Edge. Yeah. Didn't hear a lot of Great Big Sea on the Edge.
No, we never got on the radio a lot. We got on Much Music a lot.
That's and where this I'm going one, with this. Yeah, I would,
because we didn't fit any format, right? And it's still the story of my life. Like
But Spirit of the West was played on Edge.
Not really. Not a lot.
Well, they would one. Yeah. Like there's a few Venice is sinking probably, for sure, and 1 free minute for myself. I can't remember how that song goes, but there's another. I just want 5 free minutes for myself. That's it.
Yeah, that's very, very small amount of airplay Spirit of the West would have got.
To Celtic, what's going on here?
Yeah, just it was in the early 1990s when everything that was on the radio was sort of angry. Sneaker gazing grunge, and like some happy kid in shorts doing a Slade cover,
right? Slade cover, right?
With tin whistles wasn't on, But now, thankfully, Denise and all the gang at Much Music loved us because it was, I guess, it was visually and different, and they embraced it as opposed to thought it was terrifying.
Also, we need us Toronto idiots need some Newfoundland in our diet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we got on the radio in a few places a little bit, but we never had benefited from any kind of big radio play, like ever, but not complaining or anything. It was just a reality of the history of my sort of career.
No, but thank goodness for Much Music, because that, to me, that unites this country, right? We're all watching the same videos. The
2 big blessings in my musical life from Great Big Sea guys in that time was Much Music and what we used to call the COCA circuit, right? The Canadian Organization of Campus Activities that you could audition for or submit to or showcase for, I guess is the proper word. And you would, and then, if they thought you could put on a good hour or 2 at the university student union building or pub.
Like Frosh Weeks?
And stuff like all that stuff. Yeah. And then most of them had pubs that they booked at the time. They don't do any of that anymore, to my knowledge. Which is a real shame. But I mean, sure, you could pay your way across country playing all the universities. And of course, we would do anything. Like we were like $500, 4 subs, 24 beer, and 2 hotel rooms. And we'll do anything. And we did everything. Like we go into the University of Guelph or whatever, and we play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or whatever at the Brass Taps or whatever the bar was called. And then, we'd also go in and haul our stuff out of the pub and stand up, next to the, salad bar in the student union building and play at lunchtime, and we would do anything, like literally, and so you end up kind of end up dear to people's hearts. Like you're not broadcast the way you would be if you're on the radio all the time, but the people that see you, if they like you standing next to the salad bar at the University of Guelph on Friday afternoon in 1994, they're going to stick with you.
Oh, man. You just said Guelph. It's too funny because on Friday night, I made the trek to Guelph to see my friend Hawksley Workman.
Oh, with Todd. And Todd plays in our band now, right? So yeah, Mr. Lonely.
Right. Yeah, Mr. Lonely.
Yeah, so Todd plays in our band all the time now. And Hawksley's an old friend and hero of mine and produced some of my music and produced the Great Big Sea record. And wonderful, wonderful.
Right, I knew you guys were. He was on this show very recently, and I told him you were coming on, and we talked about. So, actually, I'm going to save this chat for later. Actually, I got a question about this song right here. I just enjoy sitting with Alan Doyle playing Great Big Sea songs and Alan Doyle
here you go.
songs.
This song, probably our biggest tune, and the SOS you hear is an actual Morse code machine that I took out of the Newfoundland Museum. Yeah,
that's the fun facts we're looking for, man.
And then we typed in 3 short ones and 3 long ones and 3 short ones so we could do SOS. So the whole Ordinary Day song is a response to an SOS emergency call and distress call. And this was recorded in the old Battery Hotel, which is looks down over St. John's, and was half abandoned, and they let us have 2 or 3 of the old hotel rooms to record it.
It's impossible. It's impossible to listen to this song. My heart rate goes up. I feel good. Time to party.
Yeah, thank God. I mean, I can't tell you what people have said. What a blessing that song is to me, and I'm like, it is to me too. Like, I can't tell you how many.
Well, you wrote that. This is actually we talked about "Drunken Sailor." That's a traditional song.
Yeah.
"Run, Run Away." That's a Slade song, a band that only the Brits really know. I mean, Slade is not that known here, but if you know about British Christmas singles and all that, Slade's a big deal. Yeah. But "Ordinary Day," that's you guys.
Yeah, me and Sean wrote this, and it's really just a song that was kind of written about the Newfoundlanders' resiliency and attitude, and how we sort of tend to shine the most in the darkest times. And it was one of the. If you're have a lifelong life in a band, you hope once or twice, or if you're many times if you're really lucky, that everything works. And this song was just like, one of the cool things about this song is that everybody in the band has something cool to do in this song. Like Bob's accordion riff here is fantastic. The Bowron part that Sean plays is awesome and thunderous, and the rhythm guitar is very Spirit of the Westy, very, very, and then Daryl's bass part sounds like Jackson 5, and Danny Greenspoon plays electric guitar on it, and like and then we did this cool video with the rugby and stuff, like that was like the perfect video for the perfect song. And so like it just all came together, and but again, this song almost never got on the radio.
Not even like, I don't know what at the time, like a Mix 99.9 or something like that.
I don't think the song ever got on the radio. No. Closest thing we ever had
doesn't fit these boxes we have for these genres. Like, like Boom.
We had a song later called "Sea of No Cares" that got on the radio a little bit. Sort of I think it got to number 19 or something or whatever one time. But yeah.
Want to shout out Andrew Ward, who's on the live stream, and he says another favorite concert. He says first Christmas in St. John's, and we saw Great Big Sea at the Delta Ballroom downtown. What a great venue!
Yeah. We often play there's a few cool venues in downtown St. John's now, but like the special thing was to rent the main ballroom at the hotel and put on your own concert. It was ambitious, that was the bud stage of St. John's, and we did it a few times.
That song I just played, "Ordinary Day," so you guys wrote that song. Maybe just touch on this Stockwell Day, right? He was using that song for the Canadian Alliance during the 2000 Canadian federal election. And what did you guys do about that?
Oh, it's happened a whole bunch over the years because that song is popular, but it's also kind of clean, and positive and up-tempo. And so politicians love to use songs like that for their walk-ons and offs. And he actually was trying to use it for, I can't remember exactly what the objectionable thing was, but it's like some kind of ad or something or what have you. And we just sort of very politely had to remind him that you had to get permission and pay for that stuff. And when he asked our permission, we said no.
Okay, that was back in 2000. Okay, one more Great Big Sea, and then I got to bring you back to Newfoundland here. Not that you've ever left, of course, but I have a question.
When I'm off, another cover.
I'm the instrument of joy.
Yeah.
To keep the good times rolling, I'm the boy, I'm the boy.
Listen to my young voice.
You know the world could be our oyster.
So
you just put your trust in me, 'cause we'll keep the good times rolling. Wait and see, wait and see. Oh, wait and see.
I'll bet you get 100 Canadians in a room, Alan, and we just say, whose song is this?
Yeah.
They think this is a Great Big Sea original.
Yeah, it's actually another cover from him. I mean, Bob Hallett and Sean too, but mostly Bob is like just really well versed in British Celtic rock, like Slade, for example.
Right.
But also there's this amazing band called the Oyster Band, And they put out dozens of records and should have been the Pogues, just never got any traction. And I think this is from our like the record before Ordinary Day. What's it called? Up, I guess, yeah. And then
It's called Up.
Yeah, but this is an Oyster Band song, and we got to tour with the Oyster Band towards the end of their career. And they had, trust me, I remember Bob bringing in a record that they had called, I think it was called Trawler, which was sort of, I think if I have it remember correctly, it was sort of like a greatest hits of their first 4 or 5 records, and every song on it was this good. Like, we could have picked another one and it would have been just as, like, they were so prolific songwriters, and because we were sort of new songwriters when Great Big Sea started, like, we hadn't done a lot of songwriting. These were great songs for us to kind of model after, if you will. Without this song, there's not a chance I would have ever wrote Ordinary Day. Like, so this was just one of those things that one thing leads to another kind of thing.
You know, you may not have written this song, but you made this song famous.
Yeah, and they love us for it. Over, yeah, they do, and I don't mean that just in a financial kind of way. But also, I think they're really grateful that, and we actually led, like, the Barry McNeils and several other Lenny Canadian bands recorded a bunch of Oyster Band songs just because the world sort of started discovering them, and like even though they were older than us quite a bit, but yeah, this is one of I have to credit the other guys in the band, because they knew about the Oyster Band and I didn't, and they brought so much of this cool British Celtic rock music to my, awareness. And
amazing.
Yeah,
very cool. Went to
Perfect
number 6 on the Canadian RPM singles charts.
I'm very surprised to learn that.
Yeah. Well, listen, I got good source on this one here. So peaked at number 6. That makes it your best charting single.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
In this country. Yeah. Now, you mentioned the Pogues quickly. I'm just here to tell you, since I'm selling you on the wire, that you do hear "Body of an American" by the Pogues in the Wire.
Great song.
So, is it working? You're going to go check it out? I can lend you my, I have the DVD box set.
I have the DVD box set. That's how compelled I was to watch it.
It didn't stick. Well, now maybe a new frame of mind. Alan Doyle going to give it.
We'll come around.
Another shot. Can you tell me a little bit about the bus accident that happened in 2006?
Yeah, we were driving. We'd played at, the night before in Calgary, and we were driving to Vancouver to play that next day, which is like I think in a bus is an 8 or 9 or 10 hour drive or something. Very common. Every Canadian band does it many times. Sure. And then we, I guess we were somewhere around Surrey or somewhere, say 45 minutes outside of Vancouver. And we were coming up on a hill, and as we were cresting the hill, I guess the bus driver was, pedal to the metal to drag a bus and trailer up the hill, and what he didn't know was a kilometer or so ahead there had been a construction or something, so traffic was backed way up, 8 lanes across, right up to the top of the hill.
Oh, that's when you come up, yeah.
So when he crested the top of the hill, it was like a parking lot.
Right.
And so he had to swerve. Thank God he did, because we would have crushed like several people in their cars. I know it. So, but he managed to swerve hard over into the median, I suppose you'd call it, like the ditch in between the two directions of traffic, and the bus flipped over. Yeah, and it was. If anyone has any romantic notions about how cool and rock and roll a bus accident is, it's not.
Well, we've all heard the horror stories, Metallica and etc. Oh my God!
It was. I don't ever want to have another one. It was no fun, and but we managed it. We nobody got hurt really badly. Thankfully.
Well, that's good news.
And we just got we towed up our trailer and we got it into the gig and we played the gig that night.
You're not the first member of Great Big Sea to appear on Toronto Mic'd. So,
is that right?
Yeah, Sean McCann's been on the
Sean's
program.
been here, fabulous.
Sean, the quote from him at the time, I'm wondering if you'll just speak to this, but he wrote, I stopped drinking 2.5 years ago. I've decided to leave the band I've been in for 20 years. I'm 46 years old, and I've decided to make changes. Can I ask you, did you feel blindsided when Sean says, I'm tapping out of Great Big Sea? Like, what was that like for you?
Oh, no, I mean, I think we all knew that he was, unhappy with it all, and it was no fun for everyone at that point in Great Big Sea, to be honest with you.
Right.
And I was disappointed, and I think we all were, that there was going to be really difficult to go on without him and stuff. So, but it's somewhere in my heart of hearts, I also saw an opportunity to end it and move on to different things in my life that I would hope would be good, or at least I was willing to take a chance on it.
Right.
So yeah, it was certainly difficult, but kind of like ending a marriage or something, but Sean is doing real good now, and Bob's doing real good now, and everybody's very happy. So I'm grateful for it.
Are you guys still friends?
I mean, we don't talk as Sean doesn't live in Newfoundland anymore. Like we still like exchange emails all the time because we still own the company and we still do a bit of business here and there. But no, I mean, I'd be lying to if I said that like we don't hang out because we don't live in the same place or what. I see Bob and I see Daryl, regularly, but I don't see Sean a lot because he lives in Ontario.
Do you have any regrets whatsoever how the breakup went down? Because Sean went on the record to say he was devastated by how Great Big Sea ended. Like, any regrets if you had a do-over? Would you do it differently?
Oh, tons. Tons of regrets, yeah. Yeah, if I had my time back, I probably would have said to the guys, look, everyone's unhappy. Let's not make any rash decisions right now. Let's wait 6 months. Just park everything for 6 months and see how we feel. And I think the outcome probably would have been different. So, but I'm not, like I said, at the time I was, I think, just as devastated as Sean and Bob and everybody, and because it was home base, right, for 2 decades of our lives, and we were in our mid 40s, so really our whole adult lives we'd just been on that ship, right, and so it was terrifying to imagine what life would be like without it. But if in retrospect, I'm glad that opportunity came and I got to do all the stuff I've done since Great Big Sea. But I'd be lying to you if I said I knew that any of that was going to happen, in the days.
Well, you've done so much. And and I do want to shout out Blue Rodeo. I went to see them and got to see the Alan Doyle band. Is that what you would, or is it just
I usually
Alan
call
Doyle?
it Alan and the beautiful, beautiful band or whatever,
Right.
depending, yeah, sure.
Okay. But it was great. You played a lot of the Great Big Sea songs and some of your stuff, and it was great to see you live. So you sound great.
Thank you for saying, yeah. No, I love the band. And this band has been together now. We're about to go on the road right after Christmas. We have 2 dates here in Toronto at Massey Hall. And we do it out in Kitchener, and we're in Ottawa and a few places in Ontario. And, our set is usually like, we probably do 5 or 6 of the Great Big Sea big songs, and then some of my own, and then some Newfoundland traditional stuff. And the beautiful, beautiful band, well, this will be our 15th year, I think. I mean, and Great Big Sea was together 20, so I've almost had 2 bands.
Oh, wow.
20 years. So, yeah, it's, I'd like to think, between me and my team, we make a good camp, to find yourself in. And so people, when they come, they usually stick around for a while.
Did I hear Kendall Carson on stage with you? Kendall Carson?
Oh, yes. Kendall plays fiddle in our band. Yeah.
Okay, so I first saw her, she played with, gosh, Mike, don't screw up your names. Devin Cuddy, or is it Destin?
Devin.
Devin,
yeah,
right.
No, you're right to be confused because she plays with Devin, who's Jim's son sometimes.
Sure.
But she played with a guy named Dustin Bental, who's Barney Bental's son.
What? So these are all like
then
children of Canadian rock gods.
She's just through recently, again, opening for Blue Rodeo with our friend Adam Baldwin. And then, but Kendall's main gig, if I could be so bold, has been with our band since 2012. This past summer, she also moonlighted with another small up-and-coming artist named Shania Twain. Kendall's Shania's fiddle player as well.
Okay, I just think she's fantastic. Like, this is going to turn into the Kendall Carson
and
tribute.
Rightly so. Kendall is one of the only musicians that I've ever met in my life that you could put in any band in any era at any time, and that band becomes better because she's in it. And I mean that so sincerely. Like any Celtic band, you could put Kendall in a Korean metal band,
right,
and it would be better. You could put her in a Baroque, quartet, in south of France, in whenever the Baroque period was, and she'd be good in that. But I've been so lucky when I had the chance, when Great Big Sea stopped playing, to put together the beautiful, beautiful band. One of my first calls was Chris McFarlane, who played drums in Great Big Sea forever. And then Corey Tetford, who's from Newfoundland, plays guitar, sings just like one of the best voices in the country. And then, And then we got Mr. Lonely, who you just saw a couple of nights ago.
Just took a selfie with him backstage. They had an intermission for
yeah,
the show.
Yeah, and so Todd, played keyboards, and then Kendall. I mean, and they've been with me, and we've all been together since 2012, and
It's unbelievable.
we've done 5 or 6 records together and played I don't know how many 100 concerts, but it's a great gang, and I think we all feel really lucky to have each other for this long.
Well, you sound great. And I took a note on the date for the Massey Hall. It's March 14. So
it's almost sold out, so we added a second. I think we're actually
that's
doing
fresh news. Okay.
Yeah, I think we do
breaking news here.
Yeah, 14 and 15 maybe, I can't remember, but 2 nights anyway that weekend, and right around the St. Patrick's weekend we're doing the Saturday night and the Sunday night at Massey Hall.
So I know exactly what song when we booked this, I knew exactly what song I wanted to close with before I press play on that. And I also want to ask you about a certain actor you might be buds with. Okay. Yeah. But I just want to thank a couple more partners here that helped to fuel this real talk here. So you've been great, man. I don't know why it took us so long to make this happen.
I'm grateful.
How much time do you hang out in Toronto?
Well, not a lot up until this fall, but I spent a lot of time in Toronto this fall doing, because of course we wrote the musical called Telltale Harbor, and I played one of the roles in it, and so I was here for 6.5 or 7 weeks straight, and so I actually had a little small apartment here for the first time ever, and I had right behind the theater down there on Richmond Street or whatever, and I got to tell you, I loved it. Like I absolutely loved having a little footprint in Toronto and walking around this city and discovering all the parts of it that you don't discover if you play in a band for a living. And even if you go, like if you're an adventurous walker arounder like I am, all my walking around in Toronto was, downtown, between Bud Stage and the beaches, or not even out to the beaches, for God's sake, like Bud Stage and
Trillium Park or something.
Yeah, the sugar place. What do they call it? Sugar Beach.
Sugar Beach.
That's it.
That's where Edge 102
that's my Toronto. And then of course having all that time here, I walked everywhere. I just absolutely loved my time here.
Well, I'll tell you, I had many a guest on. I would, I always promote upcoming guests and stuff, and I'll just say, hey, Alan Doyle's coming by, and these people would say, I just saw him, because they loved this production. So many people who came over had just seen the production. Yeah, well, I'm out doing this, talking about the Smiling Land book and stuff now, and the love letter that it is to Newfoundland, and how lucky I felt to get the chance to tour around it and talk about it in the book. And during the events we've been doing, it's been amazing how many people, especially in the Southern Ontario area here, who've come up to me and said, I saw your play. Yeah. And I was like, oh, wow. And it's strangely, in a lucky life, it's just another one of those things that, when Great Big Sea was stopping playing, and, in that whole sort of terrifying time, I could never have seen any of that coming. Right. And so these are all just blessings in my life that have come, I guess what you could call in the second half of my adult life. Well, when you faced with adversity, you got to kind of have that attitude that this is an opportunity, right?
Yeah, I mean, I had lots of stuff that I wanted to try to do, but most of them were just like musical ideas or for bands and stuff and all that. I had no idea I'd become an author for a living. Right. Or for example,
this is your second book.
This is my fourth
book. Yeah. Who can count? Okay, and then, all these books.
Yeah, and then, when they ended up acting in movies and film and television. And
okay, so let's do this. Let me thank a couple of partners, and then ask you about the actor, and then touch on some rapid fire on some cool shit you've been up to, and then I know exactly what song I want to play to close this out. And I'm looking over, we're okay here. Look at this. I'm going to try to stick the landing here. But I mentioned Retro Festive because they're giving everyone a gift at TMLX21 this coming Saturday. But if you go to retrofestive.ca, you can save 10% right now with the promo code FOTM. I know who just used that promo code, Doug Mills from Blue Sky Agency, because he texted me, what's that promo code again? FOTM. But Blue Sky Agency, they have partnerships with office furniture brands like Silent and Green Furniture Concept and Rouliard. And if you write him now, he's Doug at blueskyagency.ca. Let him know you're an FOTM. If you're looking for dynamic and creative work environments, chat up Doug. He's your guy. He's really good. We've already shouted out Really Funeral Home, but I want to shout out Nick Iones, who has a podcast called Building Toronto Skyline, and he has another one called Building Success. You should listen to both. Thank you, Fusion Corp and the great Nick Iones. And last but not least, if you, Alan, have any old cables, old devices, old electronics, maybe in that basement studio of yours in St. John's, don't throw it in the garbage because those chemicals end up in our landfills. Go to recyclemyelectronics.ca, put in your postal code, and find out where you can drop it off to be properly recycled.
Fantastic.
You're taking notes over there?
I will say, I am.
You know what? It's okay. I recorded this. You can listen back. You can catch this all later. What is your relationship with Russell Crowe?
Oh, we've been friends since we met right here in Toronto in 2002 or 3 or something like that. He was here doing a wonderful movie called Cinderella Man, if you remember.
I remember the night my second born was born. When my second born was born, I was driving home at 3 a.m. because I had to go take care of my firstborn. And I saw the Simpsons at Queen, and like it was transformed into Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
And everybody looked like they were straight out of the 1930s.
Yeah.
They were filming Cinderella Man.
Yeah. That's when we met. And he had heard of Great Big Sea, thanks to my good friend Kevin Durand, a few years before, and became a fan of the band and my writing. And we met early in the summer at the NHL Hockey Awards. We were both giving out trophies. And so we met there, ended up writing some songs over the course of that summer for a band that he had in Australia at the time, and then some for Great Big Sea.
That's 30-odd foot of grunts.
Yeah, and he had a band after that.
The Ordinary Fear of God.
Yeah, and I ended up producing a record for The Ordinary Fear of God and played in the band for a couple of tours in Australia. And then we wrote songs for TV and movies and for Great Big Sea Records and my records and a whole bunch of things. And we're just good friends. And then in 2008, I guess, he called me and asked if I knew how to play the lute. And I said, yeah, I guess so. And ended up reading they wanted an Irishy sounding fella who could play the lute to play Alan Doyle in Robin Hood. So I went to LA and read for the part and got it. And I spent 4 months the summer, I guess, of 2009. I was in the UK for 4 or 5 months.
And that's a Ridley Scott joint.
Yeah, it was all famous people and me. It was Ridley Scott and Kate Blanchett and Russell and Mark Strong and Oscar Isaac and so many famous people right now. Yeah, Matthew.
Unbelievable. And just because we're doing the quick hits here, you also did some collaboration with Mike Post, who composer for many a television theme song that you know and love.
Very, very quietly, one of the most successful musicians in history. So most people will recognize Mike's name coming up at the end of every single Law and Order episode. So Mike wrote, dun, 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 dun. That's Mike. But he also wrote, the Rockford Files. Yeah. And he also wrote... Right. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air.
I remember.
And he also wrote the theme for the A-Team. And he wrote and he also wrote Magnum P.I.
Of course.
He also did, he just did all kinds of television series and that kind of thing. But he also produced Dolly Parton records and produced... he was the music director for Sonny and Cher. And
did he do anything with Steely Dan, or am I misremembering?
Possibly, most likely.
Possibly,
yeah.
Right? Okay.
But he's a really good friend, and we've written songs together a few times, and I've worked on some Law and Order episodes with him, and
Jeez.
Yeah, great fun, amazing.
Yeah, you performed a song called "Middle of Nowhere."
Yeah, we wrote one of the episodes opens with a scene, a fisherman out on the ocean, and Mike, instead of just like an instrumental theme, wanted to test a song, having a song actually open the show, an original song. So we wrote one. Okay,
a couple more shows I'm going to hit you with. Murdoch Mysteries.
Yeah, I had a recurring role on Murdoch Mysteries. A couple of episodes played a historian, a guy who travels through time.
Well, that show is going to last forever.
It's fabulous,
it's good to get in there. And the other one I wanted to, Republic of Doyle.
Yeah, that's my friend Alan and Peary's show that started in St. John's right around the time when I was doing Robin Hood. And I ended up playing a recurring character on that role called Wolf, on that TV show called Wolf Redmond. And he, when we find him, he's in the prison, but it turns out he's an undercover cop.
Okay, one more here, and then we're going to move on. Son of a Critch.
Yeah, I score Son of a Critch. Myself and my friend Keith Power do the music for it. Keith is a real television composer, and I have learned a lot from him, and I we sort of divvy up the duties. He does mostly does most of the orchestral stuff, and I do most of the traditional and 1980s rock and roll.
Would you listen to a little Alan Doyle with me before we say goodbye?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think I know what this is. You know where this was recorded?
Where?
In Joel Plaskett's studio. And that's Joel. I think that's Joel playing guitar. Pretty sure that's Joel playing guitar, because we did all this record live off the floor. And that's Kendall playing fiddle, Joel playing guitar, and Corey Tetford playing piano. And I think I sing sometime, but it's a long intro if I remember correctly. This is a song.
You can talk it up. I love it.
This song is called Into the Arms of Home. Myself and Corey Tetford wrote this song about the fields in France where all the Newfoundlanders are buried in Beaumont-Hamel. Yeah. And how I visited there, and this was kind of my impression of it.
This is just a meadow, like so many that you know, where boys and girls played soldier in the sunny long ago. No, I am not a hero, no more or less than you. I'm just like all the others who did what they had to do. Sing me a song when the fields are in flower. I'll never lie here alone. Love will bring me across the water into the arms of home, into the arms of home.
This was recorded right in the middle of the pandemic when the Atlantic bubble was happening.
I'm watching you listen, and I'm wondering what's going through your mind right now.
I'm remembering the time, because we had been stuck, like every other person in the world, at home for the better part of a year. And then, if you remember, the Atlantic bubble opened up when we could move freely around the Atlantic Canadian provinces. And so me and Corey and Kendall went to Nova Scotia, played a couple of gigs because we were allowed to, sort of socially distanced concerts and stuff. And then while we were there, we recorded this record, this trio record with Joel in his cool studio. And we had like 3 days to do it. So we did it all literally standing around, just no click tracks, no nothing like that, just right around microphones. So Corey, who's an amazing guitar player, plays piano on his, and he's also really good at that. And then I remember just sort of making it up as we went, like, well, because Corey was going to play guitar, but then Joel said, well, you should play piano and I'll play guitar. And cool. And then we just sort of stood around the piano and did this, like.
Oh, sing me a song when the fields are in flower. I'll never lie here alone. Love will bring me across the water into the arms of home.
I think everyone sings in the outro, I think.
The arms of home, home.
Yeah.
Into the arms of home.
Kind of like sort of like a happy funeral march, bringing the soldier home kind of thing. Yeah.
Into the arms of home. Into the arms of home. Into the arms
That's a beautiful song, man. And I was visualizing this chat, you know, what kind of guy is Alan Doyle? I think I like this guy. Let's find out. And I knew I was going to close with that song. And I got to say, you lived up to the billing, man. I loved this chat so much.
Thank you for having me. Lovely to be here.
I'm going to be in your basement studio
We'll do
at
it,
some
yeah.
point. I'm serious. We're going to make that happen. I want to do that. That's
I'm
a
in.
bucket list thing for me, man.
Let's do it.
By the way, in your book, again, everybody, you can pick up a copy of The Smiling Land, All Around the Circle in My Newfoundland and Labrador by Alan Doyle, his fourth book. It's like a love letter to Newfoundland. It's also a nice biography. It's really good, but I'll pick that up. It's okay. Oh, yeah, who knows what that is. But I did want to just say there's a fun part of that book I enjoyed was your visit to St. Pierre.
Yeah, one of the wackiest places you'll ever want to go, and you can go there from Newfoundland.
But you need a passport.
You do so.
It belongs to France.
It does so.
And because you can swear on Toronto, Mike, what was your greeting? What did you hear when you?
we were playing the festival, and we got to Little St. Pierre, and I went into the hotel, and I sort of had a nap. And around 6 o'clock, I came out to walk down the street to the festival grounds. You know, and I expected to hear the other bands or whatever playing, and the opening bands. And as I was walking down, all I heard was "Fuck Alan Doyle." Fuck Alan Doyle. And in the book, you'll find out why.
Great book, man. Great book. Again, can't wait to see everybody at TMLX21. That's on Saturday, noon to 3, Palma's Kitchen. Come out. It's a free event. You don't have to RSVP. You just show up. If you want to pop on the mic, that's cool. You don't have to. But you eat for free. Thank you, Palma Pasta. You drink for free. Thank you, Great Lakes Brewery. And Retro Festive has a gift for you. Thank you to retrofestive.ca. And that brings us to the end of our 1,804. Is that what this is? Alan, there's a lot of episodes, man. 1,804. Go to torontomike.com for all your Toronto Mike needs. Much love to all who made this possible. Again, that's Retro Festive, Great Lakes Brewery. The guys from Great Lakes were here recording an episode of Between Two Fermenters, Alan. I said you were coming over. They said, please, please, please have him drop by the brewery in South Etobicoke. So, man, they're big fans over there at Great Lakes Brewery. Palma Pasta, Nick Iones, Kindling. Go to shopkindling.ca, order your cannabis products. It's in your possession in under an hour. Just order from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. and that will absolutely happen. It's discreet. You can follow it. Thank you to shopkindling.ca, recyclemyelectronics.ca, Blue Sky Agency, and Ridley Funeral Home. See you all tomorrow when my special guest is Michael Sadler from Saga. That's a big deal, actually.
So that's good Canadiana right there.
That is. We're going to have Michael Sadler's Toronto Mike debut tomorrow. See you all then.